Joining me now on this episode of Locally Sourced CP is the owner-operator of Galaxy Gaming Lounge in Las Cruces, New Mexico, Mr. Mario Sauceda. Sir, welcome to the show.
I appreciate it, Ray. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem, man. No, thank you for being with us, man. This, like I said, this show is all about local businesses here in El Paso, Las Cruces, and surrounding area. You are my second business joining me from Las Cruces. First and foremost, talk a little about what the Galaxy Gaming Lounge is and how it came to be.
Yeah, Galaxy Gaming Lounge is my passion project for the last 10 years, believe it or not. So I grew up in El Paso. Well, I say El Paso, but Selland Park. Mm-hmm. And when I was a freshman in high school, I started my high school gamers club. And it was just called the Santa Teresa High School Gamers Club. And there was no structure. Basically, when I stayed after school for the Gamers Club, we were just at the computer lab, a bunch of 14, 15-year-old kids at the computer lab, playing video games on the PC, whatever people brought. Oh, I brought my copy of whatever with mouse and keyboard. But and then we would stay there till the buses came, and that was it. And we had no structure, no website, no bylaws, no nothing like that. So I reached out to the sponsor of the, I talked to the sponsor, the guy that was running the club, and I said, hey, I'm interested in making it a little bit better. And then, I started constructing bylaws, rules, regulations, T-shirt designs. I designed the website for our high school. And then after that, they were like, well, since you did the bylaws, we needed a president, vice president, secretary, all that. And then I'm like, well, I nominate myself. And then everybody just kind of was like, yeah, I mean, nobody else has done what you've done. So you're the president. So my freshman year, I became the president. And then all the way to, I kept getting nominated every year. We traveled, we did tournaments. It was uncharted territory at the time because, it was, 2005 or so. So, there wasn't a lot of esports. It wasn't, it was crude. I'm not going to say, because like I said, it was uncharted territory. I kind of didn't really know what I was doing. And it was a little bit stressful. So when I graduated high school, I said, well, I'm going to come to NMSU and pursue my degree. So there's got to be a gamers club there already. It's a college town. Right. You see it in movies and stuff that there's all kinds of clubs for all kinds of things. And, Santa Teresa, we didn't have that much stuff. So I figured a very well-funded university would definitely have gamers club, possibly multiple ones. But they didn't. When I showed up, the closest thing was called the Game Developers Club. And basically it was a bunch of group of guys that were like, hey, we're going to get together and just code games. So they were taking game development classes, and then they would get together after school and say, hey, help me out with this project, or can you give me the answer? And then once in a while, like every Friday or so, they would get together and have like pizza and play video games, and then that was it. So I started my own gamers club at NMSU. We were called the NMSU Game Nights at that time, back in 2009. And then after like 5 years of being, once I decided to leave NMSU, I said, everybody was like, well, I know what happened to my high school club. After I left high school, it kind of went down a little bit. Now it's a full-blown esports team. Now there's a teacher named Saul Nunez in Santa Teresa, and he started a full-blown esports thing. So it's actually really good now. But at the time that I left in 2009, from 2009 to 2011, it was going downhill. So I didn't want that to happen. So after I left NMSU, I said, well, why don't we become a city organization? And then we became the Las Cruces Game Nights. And then we were looking for a place to hang out. But similar to the Game Developers Club, every 2 weeks we would have our game meetings and we would hang out and play games. But after we left NMSU, we were looking for a home. So I used to partner up with GameStop. We would have midnight release parties for, Call of Duty Black Ops. I would partner up with Ten Alley. I would partner up with Fox's Pizza Den, Hastings. I would partner up with all these businesses that we were going to do tournaments, video game events, charities. We did a lot of charity work with, excuse me. We did a lot of charity work with Arbors of Del Rey, the Roadrunner Food Bank, the Gospel Rescue Mission. So we were a nonprofit city organization, helping out the community with video games. And we found our second permanent home was at the Lions Club Community Center. So when we were at the Lions Club Community Center, I became a Lion. They inducted me. I have I can probably twist it here. I have my Lions Club Community Center poster here. Not community center, my Lions approved logo, because they inducted me. They gave me my pin, and I had to say the Lion prayer, and I became a Lion. So that way we could have our game nights meetings there. But I always told everybody, I said, one day, since I started it back in 2009, I said, one day we'll have our own permanent home, we'll have our own place. Instead of piggybacking on the Lions Club or moving from GameStop to Hastings to doing all these events all over town, we'll have our own place where we could call our home. We could say, hey, this is going to be da-da-da-da-da, home of the Las Cruces game nights, And for a long time, I wanted to open up the shop, because I said, well, that's the only way it's going to be, But I didn't want to, because it's all charity, the Las Cruces game nights was all charity. So I know that if I was going to have to keep the place open, I was going to have to turn it into a business, but not really turn it into a business, because game nights is still a charity. But when I decided to come up with Galaxy Gaming Lounge, I said it's going to have to be a business just so that I can stay open, because I can't tell you how much money we've given away, how much help we've done, kids we've helped, donations, school supplies, stuff that I've given away over the past 10 years as the Las Cruces game nights, because we didn't have any bills to pay, we were just jumping around from one place to another. But now that Galaxy Gaming Lounge opened up, that's when I was like, okay, well, anybody that comes in, there is going to be a fee, but our morals and our goal is still the same, to provide a safe environment for kids and adults to come and hang out and play video games and use video games in a positive way. Right. And we've always been at the forefront. Every time there's some kind of nationwide crazy calamity with, video games involved, we try to say video games actually save lives, they saved my life. That's always been my story, is that I was really depressed in middle school, especially in middle school, but middle school and high school, and video games kept me alive. If they wouldn't have been there, I would have probably not be here anymore. So I feel like I owe them my life, but at the same time, I'm not just thinking of myself, I want to help other people with that same feeling and get that same idea. Yeah. So that's where Galaxy Gaming Lounge came from, is not just for fun, not just because it's something weird that I wanted to do. It's because I was very passionate about helping out kids, teenagers, and even adults who are going through either depression, a tough time, who are antisocial, who have any kind of mental illness or disability or speech impediment, something that ostracizes them. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Something that outcasts them from the community. Right. And they have a struggle fitting in. As soon as they walk in my door here, everybody's welcome, Nobody's judged. Nobody's I can't be your friend, or I'm going to stay away from you, I'm not like that. Or nobody here is like that. And that kind of behavior is not tolerated.
Right. Well, let's talk about the gaming lounge. What kind of services do you provide? What should people expect when they walk in, and what kind of gaming you provide? What kind of services you provide for the community when you walk in the gaming lounge there?
Yeah, a lot of people wanted me to open up like a PC, like a cyber cafe,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like consoles, growing up with the Nintendo and the Super Nintendo and stuff like that, um, you have like a player two next to you, so I feel like that's a little bit more community building, so to speak. So when people walk in the door, they see that, there's usually two chairs per system and people can game together, or even if right now because of COVID, usually it's one person per station, but like, they can be on one side and then the other person on the other side of on the opposite side, playing local games. Like we can go on and on. Like back in the day, what they call LAN parties.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
especially the Halo.
I'm old
Yeah.
enough to know what those are, man.
So it's basically a LAN party every day here. People, if they want to play Fortnite, they want to play Halo, they want to play Left 4 Dead, they want to play, whatever co-op game that they can play together, or online together, they can play it here, as soon as they walk in the door. And we have stuff that hopefully you wouldn't find anywhere else. Like, for example, we had a light gun game at one point, the Time Crisis 3,
Mm-hmm.
which is a rare game. Then we have, but it's the console version, not the arcade version. So it was kind of like a
Mm-hmm.
different experience. You don't have to bring in quarters and stuff like that. You play the arcade version at home, but at a public place. And then we have a custom made table that has a top down view. It has a built in TV,
Mm-hmm.
so you can actually play it from the top to the bottom.
Cool.
Look at it from top to bottom instead of like to the side.
Right. Well,
But oh
I know you've been there for the community numerous times, but I know the gaming lounge there had an incident where the community came and helped you out. Can you talk a little bit about some of that what happened with you at the gaming lounge there and how the community came together to help you out?
yeah, I was when I first opened up, I was scared that that was going to happen to me because the owner of Super Gamers Anonymous in Albuquerque had just recently broken in right before I opened up,
Mm-hmm.
and then um, I hadn't set up all my security systems. So when I was first moving in, I had all the equipment in, but I didn't have the security cameras. So I was sleeping at my at the lounge
Mm-hmm.
of what because I was worried about that. But then John Quinones came to Las Cruces and he does the show, What Would You Do? And he did it at the Mesilla Valley Mall where two people bump into each other and money goes everywhere. And then people are like, oh, let me help you pick up that money. And then the other person that bumped into the guy with the money is like an actor. And she was putting in some money into her pocket and telling the people of Las Cruces at the mall, like, shh, like don't tell the guy I took some of the money. And every single person, John Quinones said that every single person was like, hey, bro, she just took some of your money. Like, that doesn't belong to them. I just saw them. She has it in her pocket, or they called security. There was a lady that was an ex-police officer and like held her down by headlock.
Oh.
Yeah, it was intense. Like, and John Quinones was like, no, 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 like, let her go. Like, she's an actress or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because every single person in Las Cruces came through and helped out this random guy that just had a bunch of money on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And that brought me to tears. Every time I saw that video, it brought me to tears. So when I did my grand opening, Ken Miyagishima, the mayor of Las Cruces, came to cut my ribbon,
Oh, nice.
and I put a giant TV outside and I played the video for everybody that was in attendance. I had chairs and a speaker system, and I played the John Quinones episode of What Would You Do when he came here to Las Cruces. And yeah, in tears, I told him that at first I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure because I was having those second thoughts, but after I saw that video, I knew I had chosen the right place to open up my business, because I knew that no matter what happened, even if I did get broken into, it's not Las Cruces as a whole.
Right.
It's a very, very tiny amount of individuals. So I don't like it when people on Facebook or social media, they're like, oh, typical Cruces, every time I got broken into, they would judge Las Cruces as a whole, and that's just simply not true. Not only because the reason why I'm still here,
Mm-hmm.
but also because when I did get broken into, so many people showed up to help. Like I can't even remember their names because there were so many people. Not only did they help online with my fundraisers to get most of the stuff that I got that was stolen back, but in person, they would just show up, hang out, and just be like, "Man, I'm so sorry you went through this," and they were just,
Right.
And I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe that people were showing up. I thought every time that I was like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. I'm all exhausted, tired, emotionally. People show up. People are like, you got this. Some people that don't even know I'm upset. Like I could be having a bad day, and I'm like, man, I'm just not. I'm just not doing well. Then boom, like people start showing up. And I'm not a hard man to please. Like as long as I can help one person. Like for example, I think I've mentioned it on my social media post. I had a kid who he had his grandma with him, and she was like, oh yeah, her mom doesn't like him playing games, and they don't buy him anything because they think it's a waste of money.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what my parents thought. Like my parents were like, well, I say my parents, but that's an insult to my single mother. So that's what my mother thought. She was like, you're just wasting your time on that. That's not gonna take you anywhere. Which I mean, right now I'm like, Mom, I got my own shop, so I don't know if that means that it didn't take me anywhere.
Right.
But I didn't really have her support on what I wanted to do in life. So when that kid was like, this is making me happy. Like I really like this. Thank you, Grandma.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have a PS4. I don't have an Xbox. I don't have a Nintendo Switch. I don't have I don't have any of that stuff. The only place I can play them is here. That I feel like I did my job. Like even if I were to close tomorrow, I feel like I did what I wanted to do is to give the kids and adults that needed a place like this a place to hang out.
Right. Well,
And
oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just getting, now that the pandemic is here, there obviously are like, we can't go out, but before the pandemic, I mean, there was people here all the time about telling me the same story that, yeah, they really needed this, or don't close.
Yeah.
I still have people that just text me or call me, but they don't come because of the pandemic, but they're like, hang in there, this is my home away from home, I really need this place, like don't close. So that's extremely powerful to me, extremely. Like that's what fuels me every day. That's why I'm like, I'm still here. I could have closed down after the first break-in and said, well, that's it, I'm done. But people keep coming.
Well, it's good that you didn't give up, man. And I'm sure that Las Cruces community there appreciates it. And especially you have so many loyal followers and also loyal customers that always come back and that are waiting to come back when this pandemic is hopefully over, as long as people, start following the guidelines and things like that. I know down here in El Paso, it's gotten really bad. But I mean, talk about some of the services you provide. I mean, you fix consoles, do stuff like that, correct?
Yeah. So
Yeah, just briefly talk a little bit about some of the services you provide, fixing consoles, things like that.
yeah, I I do fix consoles. I'm not the greatest at it, but I've been fixing the most common problems that people have.
Mm-hmm.
If it's anything super extensive, it's probably at that point not kind of like, there's a TV repair shop in town, and they say, hey, if the repair is really bad, um, it's probably better just getting a new one. It's
Mm-hmm.
probably cheaper. So that's at that point where that's the worst. But most of the time, yeah, I do repairs, I do cleaning.
Yeah.
But that's something new. My focus is the lounge. So I
Right.
have almost 4,000 games. Yesterday I kind of made a challenge. I was like, I have 5,000 games, count them, and then I'm like, wait, let me go through it again, and I double counted everything, and we have almost 4,000 games available to play. So
Nice.
I have all the latest ones like the Xbox Ones, the PS4, the Nintendo Switch, but then I also have all the way down to the Atari, the Sega Genesis, the Super Nintendo, the PS1,
Oh, nice.
um, Nintendo 64, PS2. I can go on and on, but yeah, we have um, a lot of games to play. So people come in, and it's almost like that cyber cafe where you used to pay to use the internet on a computer or whatever,
Hmm.
but it's $5 an hour, and that I know a lot of gamers, because casual gamers, they can come in and play for an hour or two, maybe once or twice a week,
Hmm.
and they're good. But the hardcore gamers, $5 an hour, you're gonna be spending $50 a day if you go that route.
Yeah.
So what I do is I have like a membership. It's $50 a month, and it's unlimited. You don't have to worry about paying
Yeah.
$5 an hour.
That's
So
good.
that's the equivalent of 10 hours in a whole month. So I have a lot of people that are subscribed because they come here every day. They just
That's
come
awesome.
in. They don't have to worry about keeping track of their time, and they just start playing and start gaming. Or sometimes they bring their own setup. Because I'm not anti PC gaming.
Hmm.
I just prefer the consoles.
Right.
So I have an area here, actually where I'm sitting at right now. It's like the PC area.
Hmm.
So there's like a lot of space for people to bring their own setup if they want,
That's cool.
and that way, they get unlimited internet. So I provide the internet, and then a lot of people might say, well, $50 a month, I'm already paying for Xbox Live, PlayStation Plus, Nintendo membership, all those memberships. We have everything here. Like, we have Hulu, we have Disney Plus, we have Netflix, um, we have PlayStation Plus, we have Xbox Live, we have the Nintendo subscription. So what that means is, let's say you come and use my primary PS4, you sign in with your account, then you get PlayStation Plus free automatically.
Nice.
You don't have to pay for it a month. So somebody that would be really dedicated to the lounge, I know right now it's impossible with the pandemic, but somebody that was really dedicated to the lounge could just cancel all their subscriptions, pay their $50 a month, and it's included here.
Right.
They get all those subscriptions. So
That'd be cool. Like just to like hang out and like watch the Mandalorian and like stream some movies on Hulu. That watch some TV shows. That'd be awesome, man. That sounds like a good idea. Something cool to do, especially when the pandemic is over, man. Because that sounds like a really good time. Real quick, last question before we end today. Um, do you prefer a certain console? Do you have a favorite? I mean, which way do you lean towards?
that's a tough question, since I own everything.
Right.
but but yeah, they have their ups and downs. For a while, I really liked the PS4 because everybody saw that Sony was just focusing on games, and that's what it was about. And Xbox was trying to do more than one thing. And
Mhm.
if you kind of spread yourself too thin, you might burn out.
Yeah.
But the Xbox just offers way more, because for those that are like, dude, I just want to play games, then yeah, go ahead and get a PS4. But if you want to, be able to do all kinds of stuff, like Xbox kind of did it first, the
Hmm.
in-app uh, streaming with Twitch, and I know the PS4 did the share button later, but um, the Xbox, you can get the $15 a month, which we have, so you don't have to get it. But if you get it on your own for $15 a month, you have access to over 200 games to play like right away.
Right.
Whereas the PlayStation Plus only gives you the 2 games a month, and you have to pay an extra $30 a month for the PlayStation Now. So that's about $45 compared to $15 to play games. And PlayStation Now is like a streaming service. So
Hmm.
if you don't have good internet, you're literally streaming the game live. It doesn't download to your hard drive. So you're
Right.
streaming the game live. So there's like glitches and buffering. So
Right.
if you're like if you're playing a fighting game on that, man, that's you should probably not be playing a fighting game on that.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah.
So all in all, they should just maybe head down to the Galaxy Gaming Lounge, just get the $50 prescription, just play over there with you guys, huh?
Yeah, so I prefer Xbox right now at the moment. I
Right.
feel this last generation, the PS4 and the Xbox, I feel like the Xbox has won.
Nice, man.
Um,
Nice.
but that's just because I feel like but the PS4 is just extremely popular. Like
Yeah.
I've known so many PS4 ride or die people that are just like, nope, nope, nope. I'm like, I'm not biased. Like people come in here and they ask me almost the same question.
Yeah.
Um, I say, bro, I love all games. Like, hey, you can only play Halo on the Xbox and you can only play God of War on the PS4. So I have both,
Yeah.
and that's what it's all about.
Yeah. Like I'm honest. I'll be honest. I'm a PlayStation guy. Been PlayStation guy since PlayStation 1 came out. I still have all my consoles. I even still honestly, I guess it'd have to be old school because I'm that old. I still have my original Nintendo, and
Yeah.
it still works and everything, so it's cool. But I'm a huge like PlayStation guy because a lot of the games that I have, like a lot of the exclusive games, like for a while it was just like Grand Theft Auto for a little bit, and then for sure I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, and then the last Spider-Man game that came out is just freaking awesome. So, and I can't wait to play the PS5 with the new Miles Morales one. So it's gonna be kind of fun, man.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited too. Yeah, so you bet that as soon as the PS5 and the Xbox Series X come out, we're gonna have it here.
Yeah, nice,
So,
man. So yeah, if you guys, anyone watching, anyone living in Las Cruces or El Paso, everyone welcome, especially when the pandemic's over. Head over to Galaxy Gaming Lounge Las Cruces. I'll include all the information, all of Mario's information, contact information in the description down below. Give him a call, shoot him a message, find out what's going on, so that way you know when he's open and all the procedures for pandemics and stuff like that, all his guidelines there. Mario, anything else you'd like to say right before we end today?
just yeah, I appreciate everything, Ray. Thank you for having me. And basically, I feel like I did a poor job on the services. So just to summarize, I buy, sell, and trade like GameStop. So if people are looking for games, controllers, accessories, collectibles, you can get them here. I don't have as much inventory because the focus is on the lounge for people coming and play games.
Right.
But I do have inventory. I do have controllers and systems and games for sale. And then the lounge is open, so if people want to come in and play, that's the other service. And I do also disc repair besides console repair.
Okay.
So the console repairs, the PS4s, the Xbox 360s, PS3s, GameCubes, I can open them up, clean them out, make sure they're up and running, working. Anything that needs replaced, I put them back together and test them out. If I can't fix it, I don't charge. And I also don't charge a diagnostic fee. So I'm not going to be like, oh, well, it's going to be $40 just to look at it, and then I'll tell you what's wrong with it. Like, I'll look at it, I'll open it up, and if it's something that I can fix, I'll let you know how much it is. If I can't fix it, then there's no charge, not even for looking at it.
Sweet.
And then the buy, sell, and trade, I try to beat everybody else's prices. So if you're like, dude, this other place is giving me a better deal, then I'll beat their deal. Like,
cool. Good to know, man. Good to know. All right, Mario Sauceda with Galaxy Gaming Lounge, Las Cruces, New Mexico. Sir, thanks again for joining me.
Of course, pleasure. Take care. Be safe.
Thanks, man. You too.